Pretend play is where imagination meets learning. But for some kids, especially those with autism, it doesn't always come naturally. In this video, we'll break down simple, effective ways to teach play using role play, scripts, visuals, and a video modeling so your learners can play, connect, and grow. Hi, I'm Shayna, and together with my partner Shira, we're behavior analysts who create weekly content about how to teach children with autism so that they make real progress. And we create shareable resources to make your job just a little easier. Today's topic is all about pretend play. And if you want more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated on new video releases. So when I was a kid, I used to play all the time with toys, but I don't really remember. But when I think of pretend play, I think of my sister. She was the champion of pretend play. She played nonstop with Barbies, with stuffed animals, with Lego, with so many different things. And she just reenacted so much. Like my vivid memory of her is, her having her stuffed animals all set up in a semicircle around this chalkboard. And she would write on the chalkboard and she was pretending she was a teacher. And what was really cool is that she never came home and talked about her day, but we knew exactly what happened based on what she would do with her stuffies that afternoon, right? She would take on a teacher's voice. She would reprimand them. She would take questions. Oh, you didn't raise your hand. You remember the rules of the classroom. It was just really, really cute. And that's what I think of when I think of pretend play. So when people ask me, what is pretend play and why is it so important and why should we be teaching it to our kids? I automatically think of my sister. Pretend play is really important because it really does help kids process their day. But also it really builds that creativity. There's the communication piece, lots of social and some problem solving skills, right? Lots of kids with autism may need support with that symbolic play, that symbolic thinking and flexibility. But with the right strategies, play can become fun and it's functional. Now, I'm going to put like a little asterisk beside all of that, just saying that when I think of pretend play, I also think of younger kids. So if you've got a student who is 14, I'm not going to get down on the ground and force them to play with Barbies. I'm really looking at kids who are 4, 5, maybe less than that, and trying to teach play in that context. I'm not trying to teach play just to check off a box in an assessment. For older kids, if I do want to build on that social, I'm going to look to see what their interests are and see if I can build in some kind of play based on their interests, not based on what a 4-year-old should be doing. So let's look at some strategies to teach pretend play. When I think of this, I think of about 4 strategies. So strategy number 1 would be role playing, right? So you can role play with dolls or characters, or you can role play just person to person. I'm going to pretend to be this and you can pretend to be that. And you can set up simple pretend scenarios, whether that's like store or doctor, restaurant, whatever it is. You can model those interactions, prompt gently in terms of, verbal prompting. If they can read, you can use some text cues and encouraging that back and forth, not necessarily turn taking of like my turn, your turn, but that back and forth. And really what you're doing is you're trying to teach some social roles and some patience, some flexible thinking, those kinds of things with that role play. A second scenario or a second technique for teaching pretend play would be things like play scripts. And play scripts pretty much break play routines into like simple visual steps. We have some play scripts that we've written that are pretty cool, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Let me show them to you. We have a bunch of different play scripts that are, probably 30 or more different play scripts that we've written. We're giving them to you in Word document format so that you can edit them all. There's some beginner ones. There's something like a car ramp, for instance, that has different scenarios, more of a task analysis of here's different things you can do with a car ramp. I mentioned pretend play like a doctor script before. Here's the doctor script data collection for that. But we also have an actual script to go with it. So here's the script itself. Again, color coded. And, one person says the blue, another person says the red. And then you can take data on the task analysis that we've created as well. Like I said, these are all editable. So, you might want to reduce the language if the child can't talk that well. Or if the child can talk really well, you want to increase the language. Or maybe you don't want to do this exact script, but it gives you an idea of what you want to do, and you can just change that around, which is pretty cool. So, a whole bunch of different scenarios. Kitchen play script, you've got Lego, makes dinner, phone, restaurant, tea party, you've got trains, you've got vet. So you've got a bunch of different ones. So go check that out. It's pretty cool. It's at howtoava.com/shop. A third strategy we use are visual supports. If your student can read, we can use text cues. If your student can't, sometimes we just snap a picture and they can follow some picture cues like schedules almost of play. So for instance, if you have, a car ramp, there's different things you can do with a car ramp. So one picture might be putting the car up the elevator, and then the second picture might be putting the car down the ramp. The third picture might be going through the car wash with the car, and the fourth one might be getting gas, depending on what's in that car ramp. So that's the way you could use visual supports. It really does help learners understand those abstract play ideas, and it helps, build that independence and reduce some of the anxiety around play. And the fourth strategy would be something like video modeling. So you can it's so easy with a phone, right? You can take short videos of either yourself or a sibling or, a couple therapists of pretend play scenes. And you can watch that in its entirety, or you can, watch it in its entirety, go back and then watch part of it again. And then, if the child is verbal, you can discuss it and then act it out together. If, they're not verbal, you can take out the discussing component of it. They watch it, you go back, you rewatch, you pause, let them reenact it, keep going, pause again, keep going until they're understanding, oh, this is what I do, and they're copying that video. And that is so cool. And it's really, really great for multi-step routines. And it's also great for peer interaction because you can show that peer-to-peer interaction in a video. We have another video on video modeling, so go check that out as well. And really the whole thing with play skills is teach play skills when kids are young, try and build on their interests, create and encourage creativity, let kids take the lead if possible, and if it's a bit silly, amazing. And if it's off script, even better. It's really cool once you start teaching them some scripts. There is actual evidence to say that, if you teach kids play scripts, then, by the fourth, the fifth, or the sixth play script that they learn, if they're very similar, they start to do what's called generative language. They start generalizing those play scripts into new scenarios. And that is pretty cool that they become off script and you get new language, right? So that flexibility can fuel engagement and confidence and emotional growth. For more information on pretend play, click the link on or around this video or in the description to claim your play script bundle. We also encourage you to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any future videos, and leave a like and comment below if you have further questions.